Imagine a hacker trying to break into a company's network. They don't just attack randomly. They follow a structured process, just like a burglar casing a house before breaking in. This structured process is what we call the cyber kill chain. So the cyber kill chain represents the stages of a cyber attack, from the initial reconnaissance, where an attacker gathers information, to the final stage, where they achieve their objective, whether that's stealing data, deploying ransomware, or causing system sabotage. So every major attack, from phishing scams to nationwide cyber warfare, follows this process. Understanding the cyber kill chain helps us detect and stop attacks before they cause damage. By breaking down cyber attacks into clear steps, the cyber kill chain helps us mitigate security incidents. Now let's break down the different phases in the cyber kill chain. So the first phase is reconnaissance, where the attackers, they collect company information, IP addresses, their digital footprints, for example, if there are any events upcoming. So once they have that, they craft a specific malware which is targeted based on the information they collected in the reconnaissance phase. In the next phase, which is the delivery, the attackers try to deliver their crafted malware or their exploit to the target system. This can be done via phishing emails, dropped USBs. The next phase is then, once the exploit has been delivered to the target, we basically start the exploitation and installation phase, where the malware tries to exploit some vulnerabilities to get installed on the system, and possibly maybe even install backdoors so that it can remotely communicate with a command and control station. So the next step is that once the malware has been installed, it has opened a backdoor, it maintains a communication with the command and control station so that they have persistent and hands-on keyboard access to the target systems using RATs. And finally, once all of these phases and these different steps have been completed, they action on the objective, which is what was their original objective, their original goal from the start, which was to maybe exfiltrate confidential data, launch denial of service attacks, or maybe do some other type of sabotage. Now we're going to break down each of these phases step by step. Okay, so let's start with the reconnaissance phase. So before an attacker launches an actual attack, they need to gather some information about their target. Think of it like a thief casing a house. This stage is called reconnaissance, and it's the first step in the cyber kill chain. The more information an attacker collects, the better they can plan their attack with minimal risk. So there are two different types of reconnaissance. The first one is called passive reconnaissance, in which the attackers, they try to gather information without any direct interaction with the target system or the target organization. This can include whois lookups, domain information, company information, any upcoming events, and maybe even going through their social media profiles to find out if there are any upcoming events which they can leverage to launch their attack. So the key point to understand in passive reconnaissance is that it does not have any footprint. So the destination or the target doesn't have any information that someone is carrying out this reconnaissance. So the plus point for the attacker is that they don't have any interaction and hence no footprint. The obvious downside is that the level of information that is publicly available is eventually obviously limited. In contrast to passive reconnaissance, we have another type of reconnaissance, which is active reconnaissance. In this one, attackers try to gather information by direct interaction. This could include port scanning their servers, vulnerability scanning, trying to interact with their firewalls, trying to open connections, and maybe identifying running services. Now, with active reconnaissance, the attackers are obviously going to get a much more detailed information. However, due to their interaction with the target systems, they are going to leave some sort of a footprint in the servers or the network or firewall logs. Now that we understand how attackers gather intelligence, let's see how they use this information in the next phase, which is the weaponization phase. So in the weaponization stage, the attacker is going to leverage all the information that it has achieved in the reconnaissance phase and try to craft a malware or an exploit. Now, malware are typically designed to exploit identified vulnerabilities. So for example, if they have a telnet running on port 23, or the firewall has unpatched vulnerability, which they came to know after the reconnaissance phase, then they're going to design or craft a malware based on that information. They can also try to craft a phishing email, which basically leverages the information that they collected about any upcoming events. So let's say the company was organizing an event such as a company-wide meetup, right? So then they can use that information to craft a very specific phishing email, which would appear to be legitimate. They may also try to create botnets if they are more interested towards a denial of service attack. So the attacker gained knowledge about the target, then they weaponized by crafting their weapon, and now they're ready to deliver it to the target, which is what we will discuss in the next phase, which is the delivery phase. At this stage, the attacker has already crafted their exploit or malware during weaponization. Now they need to deliver it to the target. So delivery is all about getting the malicious payload into the victim's system, either through deception or direct exploitation. So at the top of the list of the ways that they can deliver their exploit is phishing, which is a tried and tested method, and it is the most common delivery method. So they may craft emails around upcoming events such as a Christmas bonus or a company-wide meetup, and then they send it to employees. And if they inadvertently click on those links, which take them to malicious websites, which have drive-by downloads, which basically means things that download automatically once you visit a website. Another way that they can deliver their exploit is by using accidentally dropped USB drives in the parking lot, which unsuspecting employees would pick up and plug it in their systems. A third way that they can deliver their exploit or malware is by directly hacking into open ports. So for example, a hacker could directly target open ports such as Telnet, which is port 23.